Bittensor TAO near a look at the crypto AI race, and in my opinion, two very interesting projects that are building around these two very interesting technologies that are crypto and AI. Before we move forward, this format here that I'm doing a video commenting my article on decoding.substack.com is a new format I'm trying. So I need your help to understand if this is a good format or not. If you like it, give it a like and give it a comment like, okay, yeah, I love the format, move on. Because if this video has 100 likes and 20 comments in all the platforms that I'm posting it, X, YouTube, and Substack, I'll do more of those. If not, so it's not worth it, you don't like it, so I'll stop doing it. Okay, so let me know if you like it. I need your feedback to understand if it's worth or not to pursue this format more often. I write an article. You can check the whole article later in my Substack or X. And I also make a video commenting everything, and because some people prefer video over text. So basically, what I'm writing here is trying to answer a question that I'm often asked. So which one is the best crypto AI project? Bittensor or Near? It depends. As it usually happens with my content. It depends, because although they are building for similar things, they are completely different projects, and they are not building for the same thing. They are building for different things, and we will explore which one. So it's hard to compare and say which one is best when they are two different things, apples and oranges, but I'll try to do that in this article. Just as a disclaimer, I run Near validator at decoding.pool.near, so I am biased toward Near, but I try to be more objective here and even explain my bias, so let's take a look at what I wrote here. You can check the full article later if you want. But basically, I'm looking at first similarities and then core differences. Similarities, both are building somewhat AI solutions using blockchain technology. These are the similarities. Another similarity is regarding background, because both Bittensor co-founder Jacob Steves and Near co-founder Ilya Polosukin have very solid backgrounds in AI. They both passed through Google. Jacob Steves was a Google machine learning engineer, and Ilya Polosukin also worked on Google and wrote the white paper "Attention is All You Need." That is the transformer paper, the T on GPT. So history making research and contributions. But they have different North Stars. So from a North Star perspective, and I will read what I wrote here, Bittensor is building decentralized inference and training via subnets and tau emission-based incentives on a permissionless purpose-built L1. On the other hand, Near is building open source, privacy-enabling, AI-friendly infrastructure and an AI stack at the intersection with user-owned web and financials as a general purpose permissionless L1. So different things. If we look from a utility perspective and trying to translate what I read here, Bittensor is building this open marketplace where people can both supply and consume machine learning in subnets, via subnets. So subnets are other networks that are connected to Bittensor, and each one of them are a product somehow connected to AI, and they are competing with each other as well to offer and to supply the best solution. And also they can be different solutions. And this is all incentivized by TAO rewards. Near uses this infrastructure that is built to people write smart contracts, and these smart contracts can then become applications or tokens themselves for many different use cases, and all that is built in a way that it is easily connected to AI. It's an AI friendly, as I said, infrastructure, so it's more a competitor of Solana and Ethereum, like building these smart contract-based ecosystem with apps and so on, while Bittensor is more a competitor of ChatGPT and Cloud, for example. Creating models on chain, but also inference and training and other stuff decentralized, and we will see more of that later. So yeah, okay, this is the theory. Are these are these projects delivering their theory? Are they meeting the expectations and their promises? We need to look at some metrics. There are many different ways we can access that. I've picked a few metrics and a few ways to understand that. I'm trying to look right now from a product market fit perspective. Though these solutions have a market for them? Do they have demand? Are people using them? Do they need these things? So this is what I'm trying to understand through these metrics. So looking at Near first, Near has a very clear user base. If we look at data from Token Terminal, and I always leave my sources here for you to check for yourself. This, by the way, is from April 2, so yeah, a bit outdated, but I'm just using the data I already have. Near is the second chain with most active addresses. This metric here, MAU, means monthly active users. I don't like to use users here. I prefer addresses because you don't know if they are all users. We know they are addresses. We can check this on chain, okay? So Near has the second biggest active address base per month. It only loses for BNB with 50 million active addresses, while Near has 46 million MAU, okay? What's very interesting is that Near even beats Solana with that has 34.5 million monthly active users, because and this is interesting because Solana is known for having a large user base and a very active network. But Near here is beating Solana in this metric specifically and in this month specifically, okay? So yeah, I believe this is a very strong position to be at. And I have done some research on Near's active addresses, and I have very strong reasons to believe these are organic use. Not that all these users, all these addresses, not that all these addresses are users at first, but not that all these users know they are using Near. Maybe they are using Near through an app that run Nears under the hood, and they don't know they are using Near, but they are. And this is what I got from my research. So very interesting proof of product market fit, in my opinion. Another very interesting proof is Near Intents. Near Intents was the fastest growing cross-chain solution in 2025. This is a lot. It built for a real struggle people in crypto has, that is the fragmentation between many blockchains. We have a lot of blockchains, a lot of networks that most of the time don't connect well with each other. So Near Intents brings this connection in an intent-based protocol. Like you give your intent, I want to swap Sol for Near, and solvers will execute it on your behalf. And this is fantastic. I am using Near Intents a lot. And the numbers also show the product market fit. We can check this Dune dashboard with some numbers, outdated again, remember? But there is some numbers I want you to get more attention here because you use them later. But overall, nearly $16 billion in cross-chain swaps, in 21 million cross-chain swaps in its whole history. Interestingly, in the last 30 months of this data, Near had over 500,000 active unique users using the protocol, using the Near Intents cross-chain swap protocol. And these guys here generated in 30 days alone over $2 billion in cross-chain swaps. And I want you to pay attention in this number here, this half a million unique users, because we'll get back to it later. Another very interesting product that Near has is the Near AI Cloud, and this is more related to AI itself. And the product market fit proof is that Brave, by the way, the web browser I use, it's one of the leading privacy-focused web browsers. Brave is using near AI cloud solution to run its AI solution, that's Leo, running GLM5, that is one of the leading open source models, is my favorite model right now, GLM5. So when you use GLM5 via Leo, you are using the near AI cloud solution that brings a layer privacy to your use with AI. Because when you use ChatGPT and Claude and so on, OpenAI, Anthropic, these companies are harvesting your data. They are storing your data in their databases and mapping you according to what you search and what your prompts are. So privacy is very important for AI. And Near has built this solution where all the data running in Near AI Cloud runs in a TEE, a trusted execution environment, that can give you some privacy guarantees. And by the way, it generates a cryptographic proof that the model is indeed running inside this TEE. And this cryptographic proof is published to the Near blockchain and is there forever. So anyone can check. I love this solution. I think this makes it very close to running an agent locally. And yeah, this proves this is another proof of the product market fit, in my opinion. So Near value proposition is very clear to me. It has one of the fastest blockchains. 1.2 second finality is one of the fastest finalities in this space. Very low fees, so very efficient for the users and for AI as well, that will do a lot of transactions and can't pay a lot of fees for that, or wait a lot of time for the confirmation to happen, and everything else that we are already talking about. So to Bittensor now. So Bittensor, not that it doesn't have product market fit, but it's a bit more nebulous to me. I have more issues digesting their PMF metrics, but I'll try to explain it to you why. So Bittensor has 126 subnets, and we saw data from taostats.io. It has a little bit more than 500,000 total accounts. So when we compare these total accounts on Bittensor to near intents active addresses in the last 30 days, we can already start seeing some differences on the number of users, if you can say like that. Here is a video I recorded on data from taostats, just for you to see the subnets and also these users these addresses that I'm talking about. If you see number of accounts, here is the growth, and the number I mentioned, the over 500,000 total accounts. The thing here is that this is the data we have access to and we can verify. The other data we will mention here later is data we can't verify. That is, for example, Shoots, that is the leading subnet, reporting 400,000 users. This is off-chain data. We can't verify. This we can verify, and this here we can verify on your intents, but not that. Okay, so one of the reasons why it's a bit more nebulous, as I said, like there are a lot of data we can't really make sure they are as it's said. But some data we can still know for sure it's on chain. For example, according to the report by Pine Analytics, which is a very good report, it's this one here, it's published on X, the bear case for Bittensor TAO. It's a fantastic article. I really recommend you to read that if you have interest in challenging your bias maybe on Bittensor, or understanding some counter arguments on Bittensor. They did a very good job here, so I really recommend you reading it. So according to Pine Analytics, the top 10 subnets control roughly 56% of the total TAO emissions. And this is a very interesting way for us to see the PMF, because the TAO emission is based on the value the subnet is bringing to the network. Because if it's not like that, it's a direct cost to TAO holders, right? Because every time you have TAO emissions, you have supply dilution, and the holders are indirectly paying the price for whatever is happening here. So when you use TAO emission to incentivize subnets and as a measure of their PMF, this is what you get. And only the top 10 subnets get over the half of that. It's very concentrated, in my opinion. The Schutz subnet, that is the leading subnet, has 14% of the TAO emissions. It's a lot for a single subnet over 126, right? Even more when we don't get to really verify if they have all these users. But anyway, this is just fine. Why it's nebulous to me, but it doesn't mean it's a bad or a poor utility. It's the opposite of that, actually, because I believe the vision of having training and inference in a decentralized way, models running on chain, models being trained on chain, you can really verify these models at some extent. I think this vision is beautiful. I think TAO and Bittensor is really has this North Star well put. This is a problem that needs solving. However, at its current state, I'm not sure it has already proved this demand yet, or its capacity to supply for this demand. And this is fine, because what I see is not a bad project, not a not promising project. It's the opposite. I think Bittensor is very promising, and if it goes in the right way, it can become a very solid project in the long run. But right now, it seems like a project that is still maturing and is still in its very early phases. Not a bad use case, just a use case that's still proving itself. For me, Near is some steps ahead of that. Okay, just this is my perspective. However, when you look at economics, we will see, and Pine Analytics does a very good job in this perspective in particular, that the model that uses TAO emissions to subsidize these subnets maybe is not sustainable long term, because the TAO emission is halving every 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, similarly to Bitcoin. So the subnets have this short time window to prove themselves and start generating revenue to be self-sustainable, because if they will rely on TAO emissions alone, they will be a very heavy burden for TAO holders, and at one point they might start losing this subsidy, and we will start facing some challenges there. So when we look at all this data, and Pine Analytics bear case says the same, and I agree with it, what I see on Bittensor is that it may be a little bit overbought right now. At the time of this writing, above $300 per token, at above $3 billion market cap and $6 billion in fully diluted value. I believe TAO may be overbought at its current state. Maybe this valuation will be justified in the future. Maybe I'm wrong in my assessment, and so does Pine Analytics. But this is my opinion right now, and why I'm not positioned on TAO yet. On the other hand, Near shows a different outlook, in my opinion. Near has a very clear economics and what I believe is a more sustainable and ideal economics. We, on Near, and my validator participate on that, voted with more than 8% approval to reduce Near TAO emissions from 5 to 2.5% per year. And many people didn't believe that Near validators would vote against their income, basically, but we all did because it makes sense. I believe most blockchains are overpaying for their security model, and near validators agree, and near developers agree, and we all agreed to reduce it by half. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And now that it is a smaller emission, Near has a very strong proposition to become a deflationary network if it is used enough. Because Near tokenomics are special, in my opinion. Near is burning 100% of all fees paid to native Near token transactions. So every time you move Near, the token Near, 100% of these fees are being burned. Most other blockchains pay their fees to validators and even use a fee market to give priority for transactions or not. Near has a very scalable blockchain using sharding, so it doesn't need to have this trade-off of having to prioritize transactions according to fees. So they are burning all these fees, or they are burning 70% of the fees used for contract calls. That's basically moving other tokens or interacting with apps, and 30% goes to the contract owners to incentivize more people building better contracts that are used by the ecosystem because they get money from that. So if Near is being used enough, this alone can already make Near deflationary. Plus a recently activated revenue sharing mechanism that burns 50% of all fees paid for near intense transactions. And if we look at near intense data here, we are talking about to date over a nearly $28 million in fees paid for the protocol. So from now on, 50% of these fees paid for the protocol will join this revenue sharing mechanism. If these fees are paid in other tokens that are not Near, and most of the time they will be USDC, USDT, BTC, ETH, ZAC, these fees will be used to buy back Near tokens. So we have a buyback mechanism here, and part of that may be burned later. We talked about this revenue sharing mechanism both here in my Substack, but also in my X account, and you can follow me here on X as well at Vini Barbosa BR, or follow me on Substack Notes at Vini Barbosa. I often post about these things that don't need a full article but are worth a post, so you can follow me for these things. But what I want to highlight here is the report by Sovereign, SVRN, that is a Nasdaq listed company that wrote the bottom-up investment case, a full thesis on why Near may be oversold right now and why it may be a good investment. And this is a very complete article and report. I really recommend you to read it. It goes through the bottom-up thesis all along, all the tokenomics, all the value proposition, PMF, and so on, more in depth than what I did in my articles. So totally worth the reading. And in opposing to what I said about TAO, that it may be overbought, Sovereign defends this bull case here, and I agree with it that Near may be oversold and maybe at a discount right now. And Sovereign puts a price target on Near in a bear case between $2 and $5 by the end of 2026, a base case of $6 to $10, and a bull case between $12 to $18. Near is trading below $2 right now. It's trading at 1.3, something like that. So yeah, a very good bull case. I'm positioned on Near because I believe in this thesis, and all that is justified by, and part of that actually is justified by what I wrote here, and more in-depth research is what Sovereign wrote here. So yeah, this is mostly what I had for today. Let me know if you like the format. Let me know if you like this video. Let me know which one you prefer, Bittensor TAO or both, in the comments as well. I would love to know that, and any feedback is good feedback. So I'm open to constructive feedback. Follow me on my social medias. This content will also go to YouTube and in Portuguese to TikTok, because I'm also testing something there. And yeah, see you around. Bye bye.